I mean, honestly, there is nothing. I mean, मेरे को उनकी budgets भी नहीं आए हैं. So then you use him ना. I will get Gopal. I know, so I'll get Gopal. It's much easier. अभी तो lighting पे पहुँचे ही नहीं है. Hello, Anand. How are you? Can't hear you.
Yeah. Good afternoon, madam. Namaskar.
Afternoon. How are you?
You're all doing good, madam.
Thank you very much. This is a lovely start to the Mahotsav.
Yeah, we always look forward, madam. And this year, 26th of Jan exactly falls on a Sunday, and we are planning a lot of Himanshu and team are planning a lot of activities.
Okay, wonderful.
Exactly
Super
on the-
excited.
yeah.
I saw that long list of activities.
Yeah,
Very, very
many of them
exciting.
are yet. A lot of things are Himanshu and team are leading it. They are all doing many things, madam. We will consolidate and share it after
Lovely.
the events are over.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
I will just I'm not going to speak. I'm going to be around. I'm listening, but I won't speak.
A few minutes you have to come and tell whatever is based on your comfort. And give me a minute, madam. I'll just call V. Suresh and you joined, and then we'll call.
Good afternoon, everyone. We will be starting the session very shortly. Just give us some time. Within 2-3 minutes, we will start the session. Very good afternoon, everyone. Somehow, Mr. V. Suresh, our past chairman, IGBC, is facing some issue in joining the session. So we'll start the session and we'll try to bring him on the webinar. And at that time, we will hear his address. So with this, we will start the session. Sir, hello.
Yeah, I'm on you.
Yeah, with the permission, sir, can we start the session?
Yeah, please.
Yeah. So, very good afternoon, everyone. It is my privilege to welcome all the participants for the inaugural session of the 7th edition of Harit Bharat Mahotsav. This week-long celebration honors the legacy of Dr. Prem Jain, past national chairman of IGBC, whose remarkable contribution has saved India's green building movement. Dr. Jain believed deeply in the power of young minds and often emphasized that students are key to making Bharat the Jagat Guru in green. In his memory, this Mahotsav not only celebrates his vision, but also highlights the importance of nurturing the next generation of architects and engineers. Considering this year's webinar series is entirely dedicated to young architects and winner and finalist of the IGBC's National Architectural Design Competition. So providing them with a platform to present their innovation and sustainable designs. We are confident that their ideas will inspire and propel our journey towards a greener future. So before we start the session, I would like to invite Mr. M. Anand, our Deputy Executive Director of IGBC, to briefly share a presentation on Dr. Prem Jain. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Himanshu. And we in IGBC welcome all the delegates and invitees and enthusiasts on environment who have joined Harit Prem Bharat Mahotsav 2025, which has started just over 2 minutes ago. We are very pleased to have Dr. Jain Saab's daughter, Payal Jain Madam, who's supporting all our initiatives, especially on the Harit Prem Bharat Mahotsav. Always eagerly we wait for in order to rekindle all our thoughts of Dr. Jain Saab's interaction ever since we started in 2001. And then we would love to share a very brief, not a presentation. Dr. Jain Saab's legacy cannot be told in a 10 minutes or 15 minutes, but nevertheless, whosoever is joining for the first time on this particular Harit Prem Bharat Mahotsav, run by Prem Jain Memorial Trust, Dr. Jain Saab's daughter Payal Jain Madam, and enormous amount of key stakeholders like IGBC members who are all part of the PJMT, popularly known as Prem Jain Memorial Trust. It is popularly known as PJMT. I will share a brief presentation with your. Give me a second. Himanshu, the slides are visible in the full screen.
Yes, sir. It is visible.
Yeah.
Sir. Yeah.
Once again, we from the Indian Green Building Council, IGBC, along with Prem Jain Memorial Trust, PJMT, we invite each one of you for the Harit Prem Bharat Mahotsav 2025. This year is the 7th edition of Harit Prem Bharat Mahotsav, coinciding with Dr. Jain Saab's birth anniversary on 26th of January. Every year we celebrate. And this year's theme, PJMT has chosen Down to Earth. In fact, this is one of the beautiful themes. Every year is a beautiful theme. In fact, Down to Earth is it syncs completely with the Dr. Jain Saab's every single action, speech, and his every single walk on every step, whatever we observe. We are very fortunate to closely be led by him for the last 25 years. This is an amazing team. We in IGBC would love to be part of this particular whole celebration. As Jain Saab and Madam also mentions, we want to celebrate Dr. Jain Saab's life, and you will hear more from all of us. And Payal Jain Madam also will request her to share her thoughts on the Harit Prem Bharat Mahotsav. So this is a center which enabled us to talk to Dr. Jain Saab in the early 2001 with more closely. This is our IGBC headquarters in Hyderabad. He was involved as a designer, consultant, and beyond that, he has put his entire rich experience and expertise on making this building, along with the project and design team, as the world's greenest building on 13th of November 2003. This is CI Green Business Center. Whosoever has visited, they will know that. Whosoever has not visited, you are most welcome to visit. Whether you are from Hyderabad or any parts of the country or the world, we will be more than happy to host you and receive you even on a Saturday or Sunday. So this is India's first platinum rated building and world's greenest building title we earned in 2003. Dr. Jain Saab led it from the front, this entire activities. So this is an aerial view. After that, Jain Saab also always believed in continuous improvement. Though we have got the world's greenest building in 2003, we never stopped on experimenting many innovations. So, for example, we have replaced the entire lamps with LED 15 years ago, then the cooling towers, then the air conditioners. And in 2018, we have replaced the old solar PVs with the bifacial solar PV. You are able to see this. By reducing the energy demand, by bringing in the cutting edge technologies, we brought the demand to the lowest ever possible. Then backed up by the bifacial solar PV of 140 kilowatt. Again, country is the first of the kind in bifacial solar PV of this order installed in one particular building, has made this our own IGBC headquarters as a net zero energy building. I repeated, net zero energy, not carbon, since 2019 onwards. In fact, in the last 4 years, our average record shows that we are able to generate 20% more energy than required by this building. So we are able to generate additional energy apart from meeting our demand. 20% of the additional power generated is being fed to the grid actually. So this is a very proud moment for all of us in 14th of July 2004, when Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, then His Excellency late President of India, inaugurated the IGBC headquarters in the presence of the late Chief Minister of the Unified Andhra Pradesh and Telangana and Mr. Godrej and other dignitaries. And IGBC, as you are all aware, is a part of CII. CII is an 130-year-old Apex Industry Association. We call it as a developmental institute, which is working for the people, by the people, for the people. And CII started the Indian Green Building Council in 2001 with a vision of enabling sustainable built environment for all. When we say all, it goes beyond human beings. Every flora and the fauna and the biodiversity is all given more importance right from 2001 onwards. As Dr. Jain Saab always mentioned about, it is all the resources are not only meant for human beings, be it a soil or a water or a coal or energy, whatever it is, it has to be shared by all the living beings on the planet Earth. So he has written a very beautiful book called The Path of Green also. Whoever has gone through the book, if we are not gone through that, it is available also in the PJMT and other websites. You can be in touch with it. Here also it talks about how to preserve, conserve all the natural resources and how to design our buildings and built environment in harmony with nature. More than anything, as a person, how do we do a simple activities right from the transportation choices, material, or the choices of the clothing, the choices of the air conditioner, or setting the temperature, all that he beautifully covers in this book called Path of Green, which he has captured his entire 84 years of experience and all of that in a beautiful way. So here, that is what our vision is also all about. It is not, even if you need not be an architect or an engineer, or you may not be constructing any building at all, but being green and being a part of IGBC and PJMT makes a world of difference for the entire planet Earth. And how do we enhance the circularity, resource conservation? In the process, as Dr. Jain Saab always called, how India or Bharat, in fact, he used to always call Bharat to become a Jagat Guru in sustainability. So that is what we in IGBC, along with stakeholders and others, we strive for, how to make India a global leader in sustainable built environment. So this is a vision with which we work. With the support of all the stakeholders led by Dr. Prem Jain Saab and stalwarts, what it started as a one building in 2001, we are able to showcase 15,000 projects across the country, right from Kashmir to Kanyakumari, from Kohima to Kutch, cutting across all the 5 climatic zones of India. We have very recently crossed another important milestone, 13 billion square feet. I repeat, billion square feet, not million. 13 billion square feet are adopting only IGBC.
Hello.
Sorry for the interruption. In a while, he will be joining. There might be some network issue. Hello.
Anniversary is on 26th January. We celebrate this Harit Prem Bharat Mahotsav as a part of the celebration. Every day we celebrate his ideas, inspirations, and his thoughts. But this particular week is all the more important for us because he is a guiding light of India's green building movement. He is the Bhishma Pitama of the green building activities and sustainability as far as we in India are concerned. This is one of the lovely interactions we had way back in 2002 itself, almost 22 years ago. Even before walking into our own IGBC headquarters, we were involved in a seminar and workshop led by Dr. Prem Jain Saab in New Delhi on the energy efficient windows and buildings. So this was one of the earliest interaction. I myself, I'm very blessed and honored to share the, in fact, Dr. Jain Saab only caught hold of my hand and then asked me to be a part of the panel discussion, which was I'm very blessed to be part of this particular journey. Started in 2002. And then Dr. Jain Saab was involved in all the important rating programs till 2018. India's first green homes has been launched by 2007 under his leadership. World's first rating program on metro rail network, world's first rating program on the townships, railways. The list goes on and on. 22 different IGBC's rating program has been launched under Dr. Prem Jain's guidance, covering majority of the typologies. And then IGBC's regional chapters, 30 of them are presently operational across the country. He was very passionate in launching the new regional chapters across the country. He has made sure that he has attended every single IGBC's regional chapter launch program, and were able to guide the new leadership which is coming up in the chapters. And then all the chapters are very vibrant and vividly. We remember all his contribution in making the IGBC's regional chapters across the country, which are able to add more value to the stakeholders. Executive board meetings. It is a very closer to the heart of Dr. Prem Jain. The entire IGBC's National Executive Board. We meet in various locations across the country, wherein we discuss with what are the things which went right and how we can do much better in the year to come. So the entire National Executive Board, represented by leading architects, developers, HVAC consultants, manufacturers, and government and nodal agency representatives, are all part of the large IGBC National Executive Board. And then he has led all the IGBC Executive Board meetings till Goa 2018. He participated. These are the photographs wherein you are able to see Dr. Jain Saab leading the entire National IGBC Executive Board members. Next is on school children. Especially, it is he always brings an enormous amount of energy, and then he never missed any single opportunity to part of the school children program. In spite of the busy schedule during our annual Green Building Congress, he always ensured that he be a part of the jury members, listen to the young children's presentation on how to green their school or whatever the theme be. And then he brilliantly celebrated by giving the trophies, the other elements, and pepping them. Even today, we get enormous amount of Dr. Jain Saab's inspirations, how shaped up young school children to become choose their architectural scores or civil engineers, getting into environmental engineering, all of that. So the children are very close to Dr. Jain Saab's heart, and then he took a lot of interest in IGBC's Green Year School contest. And coming to the architectural students, he is very close, and as many of you may be aware, he was teaching in the School of Planning and Architecture in New Delhi for almost 37 years. So that particular Thursdays in a month, we will never ever give even to IGBCs the dates of SPA's School of Planning and Architecture is always not disturbed by us also. So here is another activity which IGBC were very fortunate to be led by Dr. Jain Saab on the green design competition only for the architectural students. So here again, architect Shahrukh Mistry's office is the one which always hosts the green design competition entries. Entire office of architect Shahrukh Mistry is completely converted into this kind of a beautiful pictures. What you see, they are all clicked at architect Shahrukh Mistry's office for our IGBC's green design contest. Here again, we also pray. Very recently, we are also missing architect Shahrukh Mistry, who is not in the physical form with us, who passed away very recently. We do pray for his soul to rest in peace. So here is a beautiful activity led by Dr. Jain Saab on the design competition. Here again, he was able to connect IGBC with ASHRAE's, ISHRAE, CREDAI, and other leading associations who also have the vision and mission to enhance the sustainability in the buildings and the built environment. He led us from the front on leveraging the other associations and other industrial bodies network, their technical know-how and the knowledge. Instead of reinventing the wheel, how we can collaborate. He's the one who brought in the collaboration is a new leadership, partnership is a new leadership kind of thing. Long ago, he brought in this concept. So he was very much involved in very important MOUs with ASHRAE, ISHRAE, and Green Building Council of Australia, DMRC. These are the few glimpses we are able to showcase it here. And then this is on the Green Building Congress, which started in year 2000 with 200 people It is again Dr. Jain Saab's ideas on taking up the Green Building Congress to raise the bar, enhancing it to exhibit more and more green materials, products, and technologies. Year on year, he ensured that the Green Building Congress grows in size as well as adds more value and make the impact much better. In fact, immediately after the Green Building Congress is over, we normally take couple of weeks to resume for the Congress work for the next year. But Dr. Jain Saab is the first man. Imagine that today the Green Building Congress ends on the third day. Next day, the tomorrow itself, we'll start working on making us work on the next year Congress. An amazing experience. It makes because of his efforts coupled with IGBC's National Executive Board members and stakeholders, Green Building Congress has become the Asia's largest green building conference and exhibition. So this is we in IGBC are indebted for Dr. Jain Saab, especially on this particular element as well. And Dr. Jain Saab also has a very unique distinction. He always loves to celebrate every single small or a big achievement. He never chased on the numbers, but whenever we are all together, he always find a beautiful occasion to celebrate. For example, first green home or a school getting a award from the Honorable CM of Andhra Pradesh, or 10 billion square feet or 8 billion square feet. Every time he brings in enormous amount of energy to give more credit to all the stakeholders and inspire us by the celebrations are all very unique. It is not only within India, he is widely known across the world beyond India, right from Australia to Americas. These are the few glimpses he presenting in SB08 in Melbourne, and he signing an MOU with the Green Building Council of Australia in 2008 actually, and he hosted the Asia Pacific Network on the sidelines of Green Building Congress in 2016 at Mumbai. You are able to see the dignitaries from Hong Kong and Singapore and World GBC from London and Canada, all of them in the Asia Pacific Network. So in fact, even today, they all remember every single interaction the all Asia Pacific Network colleagues had with Dr. Jain Saab right from early 2000 till 2018. And this is a very, in fact, IGBC Hall of Fame, we wanted to give it to Dr. Jain Saab in person, but very unfortunately, we couldn't do that in 2017 and 18. And Paul Jain Madam receiving the Hall of Fame for Dr. Prem Jain Saab. The Hall of Fame award of IGBC got more limelight and more prestigious because we are able to present it to Dr. Prem Jain Saab in 2018 by Hardik Singh Puri, the Minister Saab, in the presence of Mr. V. Suresh and Gurmeet Singh Saab and Mr. Shekhar Reddy, along with architect Liza Bate, who was the chair of World GBC at that point in time. As I said earlier, The Path of Green is a wonderful book which has been written by Dr. Prem Jain Saab based on his rich experience. Again, it got unveiled by the Minister Saab in the presence of Madam Payal Jain. Every year, as I said, coinciding with Dr. Prem Jain Saab's birth anniversary on 26th of January, we do celebrate. This year also, we are taking a huge celebrations right from 20th to 20th onwards, today onwards, led by Mr. Chagarajan and Mr. Shekhar Reddy, who are our national chairman and national vice chairman. So here is a list of activities right from the inaugural, which is happening virtual. There are enormous amount of activities happening both on the virtual as well as in physical activities in Chandigarh, Pune, Surat, Nasik, Mumbai, Aurangabad, Navi Mumbai, Ahmedabad, Jaipur. All of that activities are all listed, and we in IGBC are blessed to have his blessings in every single day, single moment. So Dr. Prem Jain Saab would forever be remembered for his beautiful God-given smile, the humility, the grace. Until his last breath, he had preached, practiced green, and as I said, down to earth is an amazing. Whoever has worked with him very closely, they know what exactly the meaning of the down to earth word is actually. Right from the choice of materials he has, number of shirts, number of blazers he has. When he buys a new one, he will donate it. The way in which he travels very light, all of that comes to my mind. So let us all recommit all our work and efforts towards Dr. Jain Saab's vision of making Bharat the Jagat Guru of sustainability. And some of you are coming for the first time. You may even start a symbolically activity of pushing off your not getting into a fossil fuel based car. Today you may take a metro or a public transport. I think that is what we mean by down to earth, or not having a plastic water bottle, not choosing a plastic spoon, or eating an organic food, or raising your set temperatures by 1 degree more if you are having a cooling. So that is all the one which, in my opinion, since I'm very blessed to work with the CI for the last 29 years and very closely with stalwarts like Dr. Prem Jain. This is what the simple measures which is fully under control. I see that it's to be down to earth. Please be part of this Harit Prem Bharat Mahotsav from 2025 edition actually. So within IGBC, thank all the stakeholders who have joined in large in number for this particular inaugural, followed up by very many activities. Thank you once again. I stop it here, Himanshu. Over to you, Himanshu.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Anand, for beautifully highlighting Dr. Prem Jain's remarkable contributions to the green building movement in India. His vision and dedication continue to inspire all of us as we work towards a sustainable future. So with this, I would now like to invite Ms. Payal Jain, the founder trustee of Prem Jain Memorial Trust, for her brief address. Before, ma'am, we invite, I would like to introduce you. Ms. Payal Jain is a founder trustee of Prem Jain Memorial Trust. She is the principal designer of a Design Indie Private Limited. She authored a groundbreaking book on fashion studies, offering insights into the fashion industry and serving as a knowledge resource for students. Her focus area are sustainability and education through her leadership at the Prem Jain Memorial Trust. Ma'am, we are honored to have you here with us on this inaugural session of Harit Prem Bharat Mahotsav. I would request you to briefly address the audience, ma'am. Over to you, ma'am. Ma'am?
Ma'am, you are not able to hear, madam.
Hello?
You are on a mute or... No, madam. Himanshu, you are able to hear me?
Yes, sir, I can hear you.
Is there any other settings to be?
Uh,
I also stopped sharing the slide.
I think Payal ji need to re-log in, ma'am. Ma'am, can you just re-log in?
Madam, you can, if you don't mind, you can log out and then log in, madam. We'll wait, madam.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am, we can hear you.
Yes, ma'am, now we are.
Okay, okay, thank you. Okay, move on. Yes, very sorry. I'm not so familiar with this WebEx. My apologies. First, I couldn't hear Anand. For the longest time, I couldn't hear Anand. I could only see him on the screen. I'm not sure either it's my network or what. Apologies.
Oh, sorry, madam. Sorry, madam.
just want to, I'll keep it very brief. Himanshu, I want to say a big thank you to the IGPC family. And I do want to say that your chairman, Tyagarajan ji, was the one who gave us this theme, Down to Earth, this year. And I'm especially grateful to him, very grateful to Suresh ji. The entire IGBC family, Anand, of course, who is more my family than just IGBC. I was listening to Anand, and 13 billion square feet seems unreal to me today. I remember the days we started with the first 5,000. And as you took us through this whole journey, I just think I want to, send out a big cheer to the entire IGBC family. I think you're doing incredible job. I think we will maintain that what Dr. Jain's vision was 1 square foot per Indian. We're right there. And, congratulations. Thank you for starting the Harit Prem Bharat Mahotsav off with this amazing session. We have a week long. In fact, this year we've extended, we go on till the 30th of the month. So the week is becoming closer to a month now. Grateful to be here. Congratulations to everybody, and thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. And you rightly mentioned this week is becoming extended to the month, because the entire month we are in a mode to celebrate Harit Prem Bharat Mahotsav. The entire month we are celebrating like that. And we would like to continue this in future as well. Anand, you would like to add something before ma'am?
No, Madam, despite of your busy schedule, coming on an inaugural session for IGBC to set the tone is always we see Dr. Jain Saab's all the wordings and whatever you said, though it is very briefly, it means a lot to us. And then
Thank
down to earth theme, we really loved it. We will be more than happy to collate all the activities led by the IGBC National Board and Himanshu is doing across the country. Thanks, madam. Thanks for your time. Thank you, madam. Pleasure is ours. Thanks, madam.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for joining us. So with this, now we would like to move towards our technical sessions. And for this, I would like to invite Architect Angad Kasliwal. Architect Angad Kasliwal is the founder and principal architect of Studio 23. He is a graduate from Pune and did his postgraduate from University of Manchester. He has lived in practice various cities in India before starting his own practice in Indore. Angad's thesis, recognized by BPRD Government of India, was published in the Council of Architecture's Archiving Architectural Thesis 2009 as one of the India's top 50 projects. Angad, we are honored to have you with us today, and over to you for your opening remark for the technical session. And please take it forward, the session from here.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Am I audible?
Yes, very much, yeah.
Great. Very good afternoon to everyone. It's a pleasure to see everybody gathering on this event here. And my pleasure completely to talk to everyone about a few topics which are very close to all of us, which is a part of our everyday experience when we travel by roads from one end of the city to another, and what best can be done about it. So thank you for the introduction, Himanshu. I'm going to speak about the vibrant urban voids with endless possibilities which they have for sustainable intervention, and especially in India. So we talk. I would like to talk about a little bit on how we are going to have how we can propagate a sustainable intervention for these kind of urban voids in India, and that is where the topic would revolve around today. For those who are not very sure about what urban voids are, let me first try to explain with the whole idea of urban voids. So, urban voids are the vacant or underutilized spaces within the urban fabric. When we say urban fabric, it means the extents of the city and where we travel through in the morning and the nights. These spaces might be a neglected plot between the two buildings, some abandoned industrial sites, maybe, or unused public areas, or they could as well be, the old buildings which are not into use anymore and which can have multiple usage depending upon, whatever is the memory of the building for the reasons that why it was made. So, although it is an abandoned idea or an overseen site, which we will look into, for the Indian context, India's urban landscape is it's a mosaic of contrast, is how we can call it, because We have a variety of architecture. We have a lot of different practices who try to propagate an idea on various sites, and obviously there is a certain residual that remains in between. On one side, we witness rapid urbanization with with tech parks and skyscrapers and other things. On the other hand, informal settlements and underdeveloped neighborhoods simultaneously exists, which creates vast urban voids, the plus and the minus of the volumes as we look into the skyline of the city. These voids are often the result of probably displacement, uh, uh, post-demolition effect is what I mean to say, or certain economic shifts, or political reasons, or infrastructure development and redevelopment issues. And that is how we come through it. So before we dive into the possibilities, it's crucial to acknowledge a few things. Because we would want to have a realist picture and not a very ideal, rosy picture of the whole situation. There are legal hurdles. Now, why they still exist and why we have not been able to do much about it is because uh, obviously there are certain legal hurdles that come in between. Then we have a lot of environmental concerns that could come into picture, or community acceptance when we are trying to propose and propagate something. So, what are the possibilities for urban sustainable interventions? So, urban forests and parks are one thing that is the demand of the hour. We hear about all the pollution in the metros. We talk about all the congestion that is happening in the city. So we need to think beyond RCC now and beyond construction now, and we have to think about urban forests and urban parks, which are part of our everyday life in everyday city, because they are the new age lungs that are going to define the future for the generations which are for the growing people of India now, the youngsters for tomorrow. Community gardens, affordable housings, innovative housing solutions. There's a concept of tiny houses that exist and which I believe are rapidly going to grow in India eventually. Uh, Looking at the entire economical, the boost and the young investors that are existing around in the city and most of the cities rather. Projects like night shelters or something to do with for the urban poor could be one of the good choices that we can propagate. Um, Very ideally, when we talk about developing any urban context, it's very important to know that there are certain principles, if they are followed in the first place, like the principles of new urbanism, um, they are one of the few reasons why a certain cities or certain places or certain pockets in a particular way are very well managed, and you feel better when you travel from one part of the city to another part of the city. Having said that, the other part of the city also needs to be taken care into for its future development and not let it go organic. Pop-up markets and cultural hubs could be some other few ideas which we can work upon or talk about when we talk about these very existing spaces in between. We come across problems of rainwater management. We come across problems of a lot of services that the cities today go through. So, rainwater harvesting or constructing the wetlands and all of these things could be very good choices, which as urban designers and urban planners we should look into. Uh, and try to propagate. Renewable energy obviously remains close to everybody, and why not? Not only the rooftops with the solar proposals, which is very widely being used in most of the urban and rural parts of India, but uh, these voids could also be used for certain sustainable development that relates to construction with the whole river in Madhya Pradesh recently has been is the second largest overwater solar panel development that has happened. So even these voids can be used um, to certain extent can be used for that. Not that it's a new proposal or it has never existed. If somebody from Delhi is here on the panel or amongst the audience would definitely know about the Kidwai Nagar, East Kidwai Nagar redevelopment project. Or if you talk about Maharashtra, the Mumbai Ports project is one of the the highlighted examples that we already have in the country, which talks about these voids and how better they were used. Or if somebody is from Ahmedabad, there I'm sure towards the old Ahmedabad area, towards Kakaria, there are certain developments which are done over the nallas and how they have been developed for community engagement. So these are certain ideas for urban voids when seen through the lens of opportunity, can serve as a canvas for sustainable development and for public good. And in Indian context, where it's an urban challenge for every development that we are propagating, and for our ever-growing fast population, there are interventions that should never stop, and we should always keep thinking about the contextual idea and not the idealist idea of how an urban development can be talked about. So by embracing the innovative solutions and community-driven approaches, probably because we also need to incorporate the people who live nearby in these voids to participate and give an approval for its better usage. They are the immediate usage. So these are the things how an urban void can be talked about. And yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you, Angad, for setting the context and uh, setting the context for the this year theme on vibrant urban voids and less possibilities. Thank you so much. So before we move with our presentations, I would like to welcome Mr. V. Suresh, our past chairman, IGBC. Somehow he couldn't join at the time initial when we started the webinar due to some technical issues. So welcome, sir. Sir, we just started the session, and I would like to brief you that this year we have given a platform to the architects, young architects, who are the finalists of IGBC's architectural design competitions. So this year architectural design competition theme was vibrant urban voids and endless possibilities. So today, two of the architects and urban planners are going to present about their projects that they have submitted and during the design competitions. The entire idea was to provide them a platform, and the entire concept of Harit Bharat Mahotsav is to celebrate the legacy of Dr. Jain, and he has a special place for the students. So this year we are giving a platform for the young architects and these urban planners, and we would like to listen to their innovative ideas and design concepts. So with this, basically, we have invited two speakers today. And before we go and listen to them, I would request if you can address us, sir. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Himanshu. First of all, my apologies for joining late. The meeting of the National Building Code BIS meeting, I thought it would be over by about 2:45, but the meeting had just been over by about 3:20. That's why I had to close that meeting and then come over. I was chairing the meeting on that. We have the schedule of NBC 2025 to be brought up by September. So I'm very sorry. Apologies for joining late for the particular meeting. First of all, greetings to Payal, Jain, and Anand, and all the distinguished panelists, and all the wonderful young architects who are contributing to this particular session on a great theme, on the very important occasion on the 7th edition of the Harit Prem Bharat Mahotsav. We always celebrate life and legacy of late Dr. Prem Jain through all his innovative work and his great contribution for not only the growth of IGBC in a large way, for sustainable green and sustainable future, the green path that he brought for all of us is the compass on which we are all working on. And I'm very happy that the theme this time is one, the urban void, and all the people who contributed in the design ideas competition are going to present. I'm happy I could hear the Angad's presentation, very good presentation. I was very impressed seeing that presentation. I joined when he was really talking on that session there. Since the design ideas competition is the one on which you're picking up, today is also a day when we also want to place on record the wonderful initiative that has been done by Shahrukh Mistry. He is no more with us. So on this occasion, we would also like to remember, like we remember Dr. Jain, all the design ideas competition has been done along with the Geeta Balakrishnan and the Shahrukh Mistry's office was the one where we did all the design ideas competition. And like to remember, he's passed away, he's no more with us, but his spirit is with us to take us forward. But I think the Urban Void is a wonderful team where all the time some important issues have been brought up by Angad in a large way. Our own green cities and green built environment for the city development has been a very major initiative. This was the first one who moved around from green building to the green built environment to take from now not only from the campus area to neighborhoods to townships to green cities or green built environment for not only new cities but also existing cities, how to make them green and sustainable in a very large way. Very, very popular on that. And of course, the green void is a very major component where we always remember the wonderful work that's being happening in great cities like Singapore, where open space and parks about which was referred by Angad there. We are not even able to 2 to 3 square meter per person, whereas the WHO wants around 9 square meter per person, whereas cities like Singapore are able to provide as much as about 40 to 50 square meter per person, and therefore that's called a city within a garden. So the most important thing of the greening of the environment becomes an important message, and we have to go phenomenally in a large way of creating the right level of the built environment, which is green and sustainable. And greening is an important thing for us. Forests or parks and landscape becomes a very, very important element. And I'm very happy that a large number of ideas are coming from the young ones. Today is the day for us to hear from them. For me, not to talk, but for me, it's an important association for us with the Prem Jain Memorial Trust and the Harit Prem Bharat Mahotsav series that has started 7 years back. And happy to greet everybody here. And we have a great event starting from 23rd to 29th under the Mahotsav period. And I'm happy IGBC is setting it in the next 4 days. From today till 23rd, we have a series of events coming in this particular area. And of course, Mahotsav is a great opportunity to exchange ideas, build partnership, and inspire meaningful action, and more so contribute and learn and strengthen for the commitment of greening India. And of course, the most important aspect is Dr. Jain's vision to make Bharat Jagatguru of sustainability comes back to us, bringing every time that we talk of these issues. And very happy that today the youngsters are going to make all the presentation, and he also had the greatest amount of hope and vision in the next generation of young architects. And the very idea of the design ideas company is also one among them. And I'm happy that Payal is taking it forward through the Prem Jain Memorial Trust and the Harit Prem Bharat Mahotsav. This particular thing in a very large way. Large number of initiatives are coming. I'm sure you would have heard from her, or because I joined a little late, I don't know who all have talked so far. A major competition is coming on, getting the challenge where the youngsters are being asked to come forward with the best possible ideas on the green challenge. On that, this is going to be a very major initiative being taken by her, and I want to congratulate her, and I want to welcome everyone for the Mahotsav, and thank you for being part of this great mission with the great theme of Down to Earth as a major theme on that. Well, today is the time for us to hear in continuation of what all we heard from Angad, and I'm sure others will have so much to contribute with, especially with wonderful ideas that came in the design ideas competition, which got the award last time. I look forward to hear from that. I want to offer my very best wishes to not only all the participants who are joining this program, plus all the presenters who are going to make their contribution based on what they have done for the design ideas competition. And I want to offer my very best wishes. I want to hear the wonderful ideas that can come, like a small inkling I already heard from what Angad could talk in the last presentation. Thank you very much, and all the very best wishes. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for your inspiring address, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much. So with this, I would now like to invite Ms. Bhuvneshwari. Bhuvneshwari is an architect and urban designer with a BArch from School of Architecture and Planning, Anna University, Chennai. Currently serves as a research advisor and urban strategist at CMDA. She is currently leading key urban initiatives, including the Heritage Corridor, placemaking strategies for Kayambedu, and the other visionary urban projects. She is professionally professional experience has spanned across dynamic cities like Hyderabad, Ahmedabad, and Chennai. She has gained valuable expertise at SCA Projects Limited, contributing to the transformative redevelopment of Hyderabad Old Town. Bhuvneshwari, we welcome you, and over to you.
Hi, everybody. Good evening. Am I audible?
Yes, Bhuvneshwari, you're very much audible.
Yeah. So first of all, I would like to thank IGBC for such an initiative, wherein I wouldn't have imagined in throughout my architectural career. For a competition to be exhibited to so many people and us getting the opportunity to present in front of a lot of people. This is one such very big initiative that I would like to appreciate. So I start being, I'm very grateful for the opportunity. So let me start with the presentation. I would like to share my screen for the same. Let me see a easy example. So cells make up the organ makes up the human body. Let us take the master plan of the city, such as indoor as the human as the living body, and the LAP here. LAP is the local area plan. The local area plan will be acting as the organ. So the cells that make up this organ has to be different parts of the area as such, wherein this particular void in the urban area was to be treated, and it actually is very infectious if we leave it untreated. So we basically went through the entire exercise like that, from basic cell level to treating it to an entire organ, and then proceeding to the whole of indoor as such. So to gain a bigger vision, we just have to start from the smaller part is what the idea is. So the Khan River is actually a 21-kilometer long river. It's a tributary of the Shipra, and it is a very culturally significant river as well. So the site condition here will clearly show us site condition here clearly shows us that there are so many green spaces along the river which are public in nature, but then they are privatized by the compounding or by the alignment of the buildings as such. And not just it is privatized, it is also being treated as an waste resource, because industrial wastewater discharge, and there is sewage disposal. So this has been one of the major problems that many of the countries in the rivers, many of the rivers in the countries have been facing. So this is a major threat to the aquatic life, and also makes the water unsafe for the human consumption. So we can see here the major green area which will become the open unused spaces is also almost half of the area, public area as such. So even the buildings occupy only few square feet or few acres, but then the open spaces which can be publicly accessible like this, they're all being privatized because of the either the building ownership or either by the compound walls that's been created by the government as such. So So the idea for first that we put forward is to identify the built form ka priorities, and then we also went in for a survey wherein we asked for the people to like we asked about the people's experience near the river and surrounding the river, and what kind of an open space do they have to do they have for their interaction with others, or how safe do they feel within a space, and what kind of activities happens around those rivers is what we were looking at. According to that, we found few built form priorities, wherein certain built forms were supposed to be preserved, such as the chatris, which are having heavy heritage value, and then certain structures were there which were very old and had to be reconstructed or restructured, and certain built forms were unauthorized and all. So scraping out those structures and providing them a better shelter in the surrounding area would be a better idea, is what we came up with. And we did go through a few case examples so that we will get a better idea on how we can proceed with this project. So one such major project that we saw was the Rajkot Greenway, the NMT corridor. So they had a beautiful idea of preserving the natural heritage of the river by providing and making the people and pedestrian accessible. So the way they had created activities and the way they had created interaction between the nature and the people inspired us a lot. And there were some few key learnings from that, wherein they should they exhibited a strong stakeholder engagement, and how they had created a safe and accessible environment, and how mixed modes of transportation for that area had helped the people. And the design was not just based on the particular area. It, as I told, from cell to organ, they had provided for that area, and they had connected that to a local area plan level, and which in turn is a long-term vision, and how NMT is like a catalyst for a healthy lifestyle. So those are longer goals and longer visions that we'll have to look at for a city's development. So this is our design approach. For the concept part of it, so as per as per the areas that I have marked here, this is just an earmarked area for us to exhibit our design idea. So we just took a particular portion of this land so that we can exhibit this area, this concept in that particular area, and see how it works out. So similarly, we created 3 typologies, wherein the 3 are placemaking and preservation, revival and rearrangement, connection and collaboration. So these 3 ideas were given specific case areas, and those were those were implemented as our design in those areas to exhibit our idea through those areas. Whatever issues that we found were the poor quality of water, inaccessible existing riverfront, and there is heritage which is inaccessible, and there is no riparian zone for the river for the natural heritage, and there is absence of soft edge and the riparian zone along. So we wanted to prioritize the blue-green infra over here so that it will be both it will be both beneficial for the nature and as well as for the people using the same. So with all that, we came up with a vision, which is reconciling the natural harmony of the past. So we just did not want to keep the physical heritage over there. We even wanted to collaborate the natural heritage with the physical heritage over there, and then give the place a character as such. So the themes that we worked under was culture, ecology, place, and movement. So according to these themes, like we were trying to create a sustainable and accessible and also an aesthetically pleasing urban green space. So the major things that we are trying to address was the ecological degradation over there and how we can enhance the public access, and we were promoting urban greening and also meanwhile preserving both the heritages and also building climate resilience. So when we were doing this, so the main concept of our vibrant urban voids will be incomplete without following the sustainable development goals. When we were talking so much about sustainability, we saw what are the major sustainable development goals that goes into our project as well. So according to which we made in our strategies. So after the vision and coming to our concept and the strategies, the strategy A was to integrate the natural elements into the urban fabric, and strategy B was to design for walkability and cycling. Strategy C was preserving historic buildings and the cultural heritage, and strategy D was to foster a sense of community and connection. These strategies where like in the phases that it can be done as well. So if the project is getting implemented also, these strategies can be put from A to D in such a way which it can be the execution as well. So these are the 3 sites that we picked in, and the zones that we classified them into are these. So zone A will be the Ghat and the cultural zone, and zone B will be the confluence corners. Zone C is the riparian linkages that we are talking about, and zone D is the green oasis. So all the strategy, so this is just a pictorial representation on what strategy will come where. It's just a very broad pictorial representation that we could do. So I am coming to the final design, wherein the sites as such has been developed with. So this was from the paper to computer. So in the paper, first we hand drew all these zones where the particular zone is. So after identifying each and every zone, we categorize those zones and then put in a design related to that zone in that particular area. So I do have a video explanation with the design walkthrough. So I'll just briefly explain the design over here, and then I'll move on to that video. So the major issues that we addressed were the STPs to be constructed over so that further exploitation of the water wouldn't happen. So whenever we plan for a waterfront development or a riverfront development, we should also consider building the future of the exploitation of the we have to consider how not to exploit the river further, and thus STPs and afforestation drives around that area, and also public awareness campaigns is very important. So the beneficiaries around this were the stakeholders as such, and so the existing built up and the proposed green cover, we can see a drastic difference in these two by the area comparison. So this is the site 1, which has a chhatri. This is not a very big chhatri. In fact, it's a very small congregational area wherein they had a huge green cover in this area unused, and it was left open for a school, and it had been degraded over years, and then it had been compounded as well. So this can be this area can be used in for the public for their like they had only this Lal Bagh Palace ka playground. So this playground can be open to public along with the riverfront development is what we had proposed over here. And in the site too, when we take, this had the main Chhatri, which is the Ahilya Bai Chhatri. This is a very historically important place wherein in the earlier times when we see all the buildings used to face the river. So the major difference between the Chhatri and the buildings that you can see here is the buildings are facing the back to the rivers now, and the Chhatri was the only thing that was facing the front. Even that they had compounded it as high as possible so that there will be no access from the Chhatri to the river. So the first thing that we did was break in the compounds and then create a pause point and a protected open space, and also create a microhabitat wherein microhabitat along with the viewpoints, so that there will be an interaction with the people and the nature as such, which was our major point of our vision, which is reconciling the natural harmony of the past. So, and the third site also had a very large open space right next to the river. It was just basically dumps. The dump yard was over there. So, and it was electrically fenced. So our proposal was to remove all that and then clear off the dump and then use that urban void and turn it into an vibrant urban space. So I'm done with my presentation. I'll just have to move towards the video. So let me share the video right now.
Bhuvneshwari, while sharing the video, please click on
Yes.
that share computer audio.
Sure.
And the text is also coming in the body.
Sorry?
The text that's coming on your presentation. That can't be shifted.
This?
Yeah. The text, what you're speaking is coming on the presentation.
Yes, you can. Yeah, I guess it has a setting for you to turn off the captions. So
Yeah.
I guess
gone,
maybe
correct.
you have turned on the
Yeah,
captions.
gone.
Yeah.
Gone. Go ahead.
I hope my screen is visible to you and the presentation is on.
Yeah. Screen is visible. You can play the video.
Yeah, this presentation does not have any audio. It's just me explaining through the video.
This is a video.
Yeah. So this is a site one wherein the playground and everything comes together, and we are trying to we are trying to define it by the hard and the soft edges. These areas come under the hard edge, wherein we have done all the viewpoints and also the crossing over the rivers and separate cycle tracks and then pedestrian pathways along the river side. There is already a bridge running for the cars over here. Next comes our this is the smaller chhatri that we have around here, which is a small congregational area. We've just made one viewing deck here as such, and then also a crossing bridge here in this area. So it will be a much vibrant and more attractive public space as such. Then moving on to the site 2. This is where we have the major chhatri. So we have also given a nice viewpoint, which is universally accessible, and also the same method of giving the NMT corridor along here. And we have introduced riparian edges in this area because it's more ecologically sensitive. And we have also tried to create a small, like a micro habitat here in this area that you can see like small mounds. So these mounds will also be created by desilting the river. So that we have done these mounds and then something that can cute micro habitat area over here, which will also serve as a viewing point. And the third site. So this is the third site wherein this will have the major viewpoints on the river as such, and this comes with a hard edge as well. The same pedestrian and then the cycling tracks that we have given along here. So this way, giving small and meaningful interventions in those urban voids can bring in major change is what our idea was. And yeah, that's it.
Full. Angad, you are from Indore, and would you like to say something? Would you like to have
Yeah,
some comments on it?
definitely. So the areas that we're talking about here are, so to my surprise, I was very happy to see that Khan River has been worked around on this project in particular. So Khan River holds a very prestigious past for the city to begin with, and the kind of interventions that Bhubaneswari has tried to make actually makes a lot of sense. There's been a lot of other interventions and proposals that have always gone around in the city, and as I addressed in beginning, it's been close to 25 years since it is since this long that this urban interventions have been planned. I'm talking about the our 25 years back was the first time when the urban interventions throughout this entire belt was planned. And there are proposals now every 3 to 4 years, and there's a kind of documentation now in the city wherein how with the change of the fabric of the city and the requirements and the infrastructure, the entire the whole idea of redeveloping this whole Khan river, which is a Nala right now, has changed. And today I see another intervention which she has presented so very well. So all the best. Yeah, it looks like a really good idea.
Thank you, Angad. Thank you, Bhubaneswar. So with this, we will move to our next presentation, and for this, I would like to invite Mr. Priyatam Uppalapati, who is an architect from PMS College of Architecture, Bangalore. And his interest lies in sustainable design and exploring data-driven approaches to create meaningful and practical solutions. He will be taking us through the project idea of Ukraine, transforming abandoned water tanks into a community hubs. So, Priyatam, welcome, and over to you.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, everyone. So it's a great pleasure to be here. I would like to thank IGBC and the PGMT for this opportunity. Let me just share my screen. So this is my project Ukraine from utility to community. So it is a reimagination of the water tank. So so I'm quite passionate about sustainability, and when the competition came out, I realized that I would definitely have to take part in it. So to start off, so these pictures are from a demolition that occurred a few years ago in Jainagar, a locality in Bangalore. So first, it might look like an issue of aging or structural weakness, but that wasn't the case. This was just a few decades old with not much issues. Some maintenance would have sufficed. So then maybe it might seem like a legal matter, but this was on government land without any issues either. So here we have a large RCC structure that was fully functional and capable of providing water for decades. Then why was it demolished? So coming to the problem identification, the Bangalore Water Supply Board used to identify ridge points, and they used to build two structures, a ground level reservoir and an overhead water tank. They would pump water to this reservoir, which would then pump water to the tank, which would slowly distribute water throughout the day through gravity effect. But recently, the Water Supply Board has found it easier to directly supply water without routing it via these tanks. So now, almost half of these tanks in the city are sitting empty. So most of them have become redundant, and they're quite costly to maintain as they're currently serving no purpose. The news articles have mentioned that these now stand out like sore thumbs. Uh, the chief minister of the time had even mentioned that no tank is in a dilapidated condition, but they might be demolished anyway as they are serving no purpose. So my project proposes a different solution. As seen here, the almost 20% of the city is within a 15-minute walkable distance of these tanks. So taking this 15-minute city concept, if these tanks can be redeveloped into community spaces and libraries or other type of public areas, it can benefit lakhs of people. Coming to the site, so to serve as a pilot project, this is a site located in Srirampura. So it is a dense neighborhood within central Bangalore. It has adequate public transport as seen here. There's quite a large railway station. The metro station is close by as well as a bus station. But it is an extremely dense area with not much community spaces. But there is quite a lot of potential. There's a vibrant culture there that can be tapped into. So there is a temple right across the sorry. So there is a temple right across the street which conducts many seasonal activities. But this road is very narrow. So whenever they conduct activities, they spill out onto this road, but there is no space there. Then there's also quite a lot of street vendors in this area. There are around 20 street vendors. Because the temple is right here, this area has become sort of a natural hub. So street vendors, any other type of small commercial activities have all congregated into this area. So the potential for this tank to be redeveloped into something that can serve the community is quite high. So the goal was to create a project that satisfied many needs of this area. So the primary functions are a plaza space for these seasonal activities for the temple, a market space for these vendors, and a co-working and skill development type of space for the community that is located within the tank. So before I start off with the form development, I would like to talk about something called capacity analysis. This is a this is a what this is something that is done before an adaptive reuse project. It is to understand how a structure works before readapting it, to understand the positives and the negatives of it. So for a overhead water tank, there are few elements which cannot be touched. So these are called the ring beams. These are the key structural elements of this tank and they cannot be changed. Then come the conical dome and the primary columns and beams. Minor changes can be done, but it is not ideal. Then we have the upper and lower dome plus the walls. Of course, careful analysis must also be done before starting these, but these can have a few interventions. So the MEP stack, the lift well, openings for ventilation, all of these are taken within these spaces. So coming to the form development, so this tank being around 4 stories tall is quite disconnected from the street. According to many urban theories, if a building is too high, people will not interact with it. They will not want to go inside it. So an intermediate structure is introduced to break up this height. So they're able to, it's more inviting to enter it. Another aspect is this form is not interacting with the streetscape. So few parts are blocked. So this curved area is given. So there's quite a view from the street. So everyone in this area is wants to enter this place. So there's more engagement with the street. The biggest aspect uh, that drove the form of this project was the temple that was across the street is the largest context that is present. So the proportion of this form was not following this context. A water tank's main mass is at the top, whereas a temple is pyramidal in nature. Its mass starts at the bottom and it steps up. So these are contrasting. A tank is also circular in nature, whereas a temple has many linear elements. So this has also been addressed. More of a pyramidical form has been given, so to integrate the shops within this type of form. Bamboo and other wooden elements were chosen to introduce more linear elements. So this contextual space is so the context is respected. So another big aspect is this area lacks public toilets. So the sanitation workers, the vendors, there is no space for them. So a resting area, a toilet, all these facilities are provided. So vendors generally get their produce in the morning via a truck, which drops off the main produce and goes. So an unloading zone has been given as well. Push carts don't stay in one area; they roam throughout the neighborhood. But what happens is when they in the middle of the day, there is no area for them to rest. So there is a space for the push carts to park as well, and they can rest in between. So the idea is to provide facilities for these vendors. It is not a So in this area, whatever is there, so medicine site, a lot of them are saying footpath, there are no facilities. So the project of this, so this project is to provide that. A lift is also provided for accessibility reasons. So the main material chosen here is bamboo. Why is that? So bamboo is quite an abundant material for Karnataka. But the key factor is these water tanks have already utilized their lifespan by a few decades. Bamboo has a shorter lifespan, but when you combine these two, the end of the life cycle of these two materials comes around the same. So it proves very useful and efficient to have a combination of this sort in adaptive reuse projects. Because if a structure is decaying and we install a 100 year lifespan RCC structure, then again the same story would repeat. So the material choice was important. So the three main spaces are the plaza, the market, and the co-working community space. So the first space, the plaza. So this temple hosts a seasonal festival called the Skanda Sasti Puja. So this is a reenactment of a battle that requires quite a lot of space. There was only a 5-meter area in road where the entire neighborhood would come and try to witness this festival. Sorry. So it would be quite overcrowded and it was not enjoyable. So adequate seating and space is provided for them. The stepped form also provides enough view that anyone can see it from the place. So coming to the market, as mentioned, so the this since this became a congregated area for all the vendors, as it's quite a hub because of the temple, it becomes very cramped in the space in this area. So the vendors don't have enough area to sit and sell their produce, nor is there enough area for circulation of pedestrians and vehicles. So this relieves the area and benefits all the members present. So another highlight is a natural STP has been given in this project. It is a concept of phytoremediation. So this is a environmental friendly technique that uses just a few species of plants that slowly detoxifies the waste and gives treated water. It is ideal for a scale of this size, where it's just a type of commercial building. So that has been used here. So then comes the space at the top. For the structure itself, since it's a circular form, there will be quite a lot of echo. So there are openings given here so that this sound effect is prevented. The main idea behind this is in these startup rental offices that exist. They are quite expensive for the common man. So someone who wants to start a small scale business or freelancers, they will not be able to have this initial boost without government help. And since this would be a type of government project or a public partnership project, it can be given at a subsidized rate. So this can have focus rooms, privacy. So people who want to start off their career can utilize the space. Few other sustainable highlights that were provided were bamboo ponics. It's uh, based on hydroponics. It's a soilless farming technique. It can be provided along the columns of this area, and it can be sold for freshly. And another aspect is the reuse of these discarded pipes. So each waterhead tank comes with 3 pipes: the inlet pipe, the outlet pipe, and a drain pipe. So when you combine 4 stories of these extremely thick steel pipes, we have quite a lot of leftover material. So these have also been repurposed into seating. And then solar power has also been given to power all these facilities. So it is said that the most sustainable building in the world is always the one that has already been built. And that was the key focus of this project. So this is just one waterhead tank that was designed based on the context of this area. There are approximately 26 more of these tanks across the city that are sitting empty. Each of them come in different typologies. Some are ground level, some are thinner, taller. All of them can be repurposed into various typologies. Skate rinks, libraries. The possibilities are quite a lot. So yeah, thank you. That is the end of my presentation.
Interesting.
Yeah, I have only one word, Chetam. It's excellent. Wonderful, wonderful presentation. So, sir, would you like to comment, sir, after
Yeah,
listening to both the yeah.
very interesting presentation. You have brought it out. How beautifully that water tank, this thing has been utilized, and the temple precincts, and how nicely created our nice ambience over there for the people is very challenging and challenge there, but he converted that into a good opportunity, and using bamboo as material have been able to a good built environment. I think credit has to be given for that. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for your kind words. Angad, would you like to?
Angad liked it equally.
You are on mute, Angad.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah. Please go ahead.
So yeah, so I've lived in Bangalore, and the kind of problems that you were addressing, that's very relatable, and I understand that it is indeed one of the very innovative ideas that you've proposed. So yeah,
Great.
all clapping for you.
Any questions from the audience? If request
Yeah, there's a lot of
participants.
participants, about 70, 80 participants are there.
Yeah, if they have any questions.
But not on the, I don't find anything on the chat box. No questions.
So I have a question for Bhuvaneshwari, if she's around and she can hear me.
Yeah, she's there. She's there. Please ask.
Bhuvaneshwari, are you there?
Yeah. Hi. Hello.
Hi, Bhuvaneshwari, I had a question. I was wondering, how did you come to know about the address, like about the issue of Khan River in Indore?
So as I told, it was a part of our local area plan that semester. So we had to go to Indore, visit the site, and then talk to the development authorities. So they gave the basic idea of the area-based development that they were doing around the Khan River. So we thought, why not loop in Khan River as well, because it's also in a very deteriorated situation. And also, Indore was one of the very clean cities that we have seen. And um, I didn't want this Khan River just to be beautified by hiding it. The beautification, in fact, should hold the river also along with the city, not hiding it by putting in planters or some other wall paintings or something of that sort. That's not the beautification that will stay sustainable and for a lifelong thing. So this is one kind of intervention that we had to connect the river to the city so that there is a holistic approach to the city's development.
I find there's a little bit of context, probably because, like, more detail. I am sure you would have had a stipulated time in which you had to do this problem. But I always suggest and I always appreciate the fact that any intervention or any problem solving should just not remain to the books or presentations or for the sake of competitions. So having said that, we have certain developments which are into the phase which are happening right now with respect to the same project. And if at all, if you would want to advance through your project locally, we can connect on this, and then you can definitely get a chance to propagate the idea further. We can try to make a possibility out of it.
No, sir, would be more than happy to do it.
Yeah.
Great, Bhuvneshwari. Great, Angad. So if you don't have any further questions, then we would like to close the today's session. So today we have gone through two presentations, one on Khan River project and another one on Ukraine, transforming the abandoned of water tank into community hubs. So I hope all the participants enjoyed the ideas of the students, some innovative ideas and design ideas. So I hope it was all the participants had a key good learning about all the sessions. And thank you, Angad, and thank you, Suresh, sir, for joining us from your busy schedule.
Yeah, absolutely.
Uh,
I joined late because of that.
yeah.
Sorry, it's something
No,
beyond my
it's
control.
absolutely fine, sir. We can understand, sir. So with this, we would like to end our day one of Harit Prem Bharat Mahotsav. Tomorrow, we are going to we request you to join us tomorrow for the day two of the Harit Prem Bharat Mahotsav, and we are again discussing another two projects. Or different projects from the same design competitions, and we look forward to seeing you over there. With that, thank you everyone for joining us. Thank you so much. Thank you, sir.
Thanks.
Thank you so much.
Good. It was good. Very good. Thank you.
Thank you.